Yo, YouTube, thank you for clicking back to another video, another tutorial. And if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and then turn on the notification bell so you know whenever I'm about to drop another video. But on this video, we're finna give them a regular taper on the sides and the back, but we really finna focus on the line-up process. So the first thing you want to do is just go in and comb all the hair in one direction. Make sure the hair is not growing any weird patterns or anything like that. Then you want to go in with your liners and then make the first guideline a bald guideline. And I'm not putting that at arch this time. I'm just going in straight, dropping it pretty low because he want to keep his sideburns. So I'm gonna blend the taper in with the sideburns. Now I'm going in with my shavers, and I'm just trying to get a better transition between the hair and the skin, cleaning out that guideline of the stubble. Now I'm going on my lever all the way open on my clippers, and I'm going up about an inch, and I'm making sure I'm flicking it like a C motion. I'm not just going straight up, pushing the guideline up. But now I'm going in with my lever all the way closed, and I'm blending out that bottom guideline. And I'm just making sure I'm going over it a couple times, trying to get a good transition again, just making sure that all the hairs in that area are the same length. I'm going in and I'm using my corners really, not the whole blade. Now I got my number one guard all the way open, and I'm still going up about an inch. But I'm making sure that I'm flicking once I get to the top of the guideline, and I'm making sure that I'm combing it so I can get all the hair within that guideline one even length. And on this area, you want to make sure you're going over it more than once. You're combing through the hair because it's a little longer than the first guideline, so it still can curl up a little bit. So you want to make sure you're combing through it so that the hair can go through the teeth of the blade. Now I still got the number one guard on, but I just closed the lever all the way, and I'm at the bottom of the guideline, and I'm just flicking out at it, softening it up. So when I come in with the zero guard, it would be a simpler process. I wouldn't have to do so much work on it. Now I got my zero guard on, I got the lever all the way closed still, and I'm just blending out that bottom guideline. And I'm making sure that I'm staying below the guideline. I'm not trying to push it up, and I'm using just the corners of the blades. So now I got on my number two guard, and I'm not putting a guideline in. I'm basically just scooping out, creating the shape of the taper, and blending the taper in with the bulk. Now I'm going in with my 1.5 guard, and I'm just finishing out the fade, blending the area in between the 2 guard and the 1 guard open. And now to start off the back taper, going in with the same steps. I'm starting off with the bald guideline, and I'm contouring it to the shape of his, like the back of his neck. It's kind of arched, but at the same time it's still straight. And I'll clean the area up with the shavers. And make sure you always ask before you use the shavers. But now I'm going in with the lever all the way open, and I'm going up about an inch, and I'm flicking up, and I'm turning the clipper to make sure that the hairs is growing in a different direction. I'm still cutting them against the grain. So whenever you see me turn my clippers, that's just hair growing in a different direction. But now I'm going in with the lever all the way closed, and I'm just blending out that bottom guideline. Now I got the lever all the way open, and I got the number one guard on, and I'm still going up about an inch. And I'm making sure that I'm flicking in like a C motion and I'm not going too high. Like when I get to the top of the guideline, I make sure I flick out, like I'm not pushing the guideline up. Now I got on my number 2 guard and I'm not creating a guideline. I'm just blending in the taper to his afro on the top. And I'm making sure that I'm stopping where his hair is parted off at. Now I got my 1.5 guard all the way closed. And I'm blending in the area in between the 2 guard and the 1 guard open. And I'm making sure that I'm passing through it more than once, just so I can get all the dark areas. Now I got my 0 guard on with the last step in the fade, and I'm just blending out my first guideline that I did. And I'm using the corners really, and I'm just flicking at certain areas. I'm not just going up, pushing up the guideline. And I'm playing with the lever in certain areas just so I can get a more consistent fade. Not to detail the taper, I'm going in with the Andis Masters and I'm just playing with the lever in certain areas. I'm looking for all the dark marks that I can see, and I'm adjusting the lever to the area. And for this area, you want to make sure that you're taking your time. You don't want to go too fast or try to rush it. Just look in the mirror and point out all the dark marks and pass through them areas a couple times with the clippers. Now to start the lineup process, I'm going in with the 1.5 guard all the way closed, and I'm going with the grain just so I can get that area even to the rest of the haircut. And now for an extra step in prepping the hairline, I'm going in with some alcohol just to remove all the oils from his hair and to dry it out. And now I'm going in with my hairspray and my brush and my blow dryer just so I can lay the hair down all the way, so when I go in and line it up, the hair won't move around or anything. It'll be a more clean cut. And when starting the hairline, you want to make sure that you start in the middle and go from the left to the right. But you just make sure that you keep your hand as steady as possible. You're not pressing down too hard, you're just tapping as you go. And that after you line up a certain area, you comb that area right back out and you reline it up. Now I'm tapping my vertical bars in and making sure that I comb out the area every time I line it up. Not to enhance the cut, I'm going in with my Kiss Express mix, and I'm just spraying at 5 or 6 inches away. And I'm lightly tapping the trigger, I'm not over enhancing it. And I'm making sure that I'm spraying an even amount all the way around the head. You don't want one part of the hairline to be darker than the other one. So you want to make sure that after every time you tap, you're going back and you're looking. And now for an extra step in making it look natural, going in with the hair fibers, and I'm lightly applying that too, but at the same time making sure that I'm evenly applying it. after applying it, you want to go back in and just line it up. Now I'm going in with my barber pencil just so I can create a contrast between the skin and the hairline, and I'm making sure that I'm not pressing too hard, I'm not applying too much. You want to lightly draw it all the way across, and you want to make sure that you're not getting it on the hairline. You want to get it right on the skin. Then after applying the pencil, you want to make sure you go in and line it up. And not to get the hairs that the trimmer couldn't get, and to blend the pencil in, you want to go in with the razor, and you want to make sure that you're pulling the skin away from where you're razoring at. And you want to make sure that you're not putting too much pressure, you're just letting the razor glide. Then for the back taper, it's the same steps. Blow drying it, you use your holding spray, brush the hair down, and after every time you go in, line it up, comb it out one good time. But for a tip around the ears, just make sure that you're bending it and folding it. Don't be scared to, move the ear out the way, just so you can make sure you get that curve around the ear perfect. And now right here, I'm razoring his sideburns, and I also put a part in, but I was so I was in the frame and it was blurry, you couldn't even see it, so I just edited it out. But this is what he came in looking like. And if you stayed this long to watch the video, I want to say thank you. If you came to learn something, I hope you learned something or picked up a technique. But this is what he walked in looking like. He asked me to just do what I gotta do to just put him back in the game. And this is what he came out looking like. If you like the cut, comment on it, like it, subscribe too. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. In the upper corner right there, that's where I really be at most of the time. But one more time, I just want to say thank you if you sat and watched the whole video. And if you liked it, comment on it, let me know that you liked it, or comment and tell me something I could have did differently. But this is a transformation for today, and I'm gonna see y'all on the next one.